If you've spent years, maybe even your whole life in the mental health system, then you know the drill. You know the language, the labels, the diagnoses, and that quiet, nagging feeling that something inside you is just broken. If you've ever felt trapped by that story, then this explainer is absolutely for you. I want you to just let this sink in for a second. This is the core belief of a framework called the Unity Method. And it's a huge departure from how we usually talk about mental health because it starts by throwing out that one big fundamental assumption, the one that says you're broken in the first place. Okay, so let's dive right in. Let's talk about this brokenness myth. For decades, psychology has leaned on diagnostic labels. And look, sometimes they can be helpful, right? For getting insurance, finding a community. But for so many of us, they can start to feel less like a tool and more like a life sentence, a psychological cage we didn't even know we were building. This slide right here captures the entire shift in just 2 questions. The traditional pathology model, the one most of us are used to, it starts by asking, what is wrong with you? It automatically assumes there's a defect. But the Unity model, it completely flips the script. It asks, what happened to you? And that one tiny change in the question, well, it changes everything. It assumes you're a whole person who has just been adapting to your experiences. And this is the fallout from that first question, isn't it? When your identity gets tangled up with your diagnoses, I am bipolar or I am borderline, it can lead to this deep, internalized shame, a feeling of hopelessness that this is just who you are forever. And let's be honest, it can make you want to just check out from the very systems that are supposed to be helping. So, what's the alternative? This brings us to a new story, a completely different way of looking at things, and it's all founded on this incredible idea of wholeness. It's a fundamental shift in perspective that really changes the whole game. At the heart of this new story is the concept of innate wholeness. It's the principle that you are not a project that needs to be fixed. Think of it this way. Your ability to heal and grow, that's part of your factory settings. The trauma, the pain, the diagnoses, those are things you've experienced. They are not the essence of who you are. They don't erase that core wholeness. So I want you to think about this. What if that anxiety that keeps you up at night isn't some disorder, but a hypervigilance that actually kept you safe at one point? What if that depression isn't just a chemical flaw, but your nervous system's incredibly intelligent way of shutting down to survive something that was totally overwhelming? What if these aren't signs you're broken, but signs you're a survivor? Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds nice, it's a good philosophy, but is it real? Well, yes. This isn't just a feel-good idea. It's actually grounded in some pretty solid, hard science. Let's take a look at how our own brains back this up. If you take only one thing away from this section, please let it be this. Your brain is not fixed. For anyone who has ever been told that your condition is lifelong or it's just in your DNA, this is a biological truth you need to hear. The idea of a fixed, broken brain is it's outdated science. And this is all thanks to something called neuroplasticity. You've probably heard the phrase, neurons that fire together wire together. Well, that's exactly it. Trauma can create these really deep, well-worn pathways in our brain for fear and survival. But, and this is the amazing part, healing, safety, and new relational experiences can create new pathways. Your brain is literally designed to change. It's what it does. Okay, so we've got the philosophy of wholeness and we've got the science of neuroplasticity. But how do you actually put this stuff into practice? Let's get into the how of the Unity Method, which is built on 5 core pillars. So here's the roadmap. Pillar 1, wholeness over wounding. This is the mindset shift, choosing to see yourself as whole, not as your trauma. Then, Pillar 2, somatic restoration. Because trauma lives in the body, this is about using your body through things like breath work to regulate your nervous system and feel safe in your own skin again. Pillar 3 is relational repatterning. Basically, relearning how to feel safe with other people and building new, healthy blueprints for relationships. Next up, neuroplastic empowerment. This is where you become an active participant. You learn the science so you can consciously help rewire your own brain. And finally, Pillar 5, which is so important, acceptance over forgiveness. This says your healing is anchored in your dignity, not in a demand that you have to forgive what happened. Okay, let's make this really concrete. What does this shift from a label to, liberation actually look like for a real person who's been swimming in the mental health system for a long, long time? So
Through that traditional pathology lens, someone we'll call Sarah isn't really seen as a person. She's seen as her diagnosis, borderline personality disorder. Her intensity gets labeled emotional instability. Her survival patterns get called resistance. Her entire being is filtered through this lens of being fundamentally broken. The person gets lost.
But just watch what happens when we apply the unity lens. It's like flipping on a light. The label fades away and we see a whole person again. Her so-called emotional instability is reframed as vitality, an incredible life force. Her resistance is seen for what it really is, a brilliant, powerful strategy she developed to fight for love and connection in a world where it wasn't safe to do so. Suddenly, she's not broken anymore. She's a brilliant survivor. So I'm going to leave you with this question. After all the years of therapy, all the labels, all the medications, it's so easy to believe that the goal is to fix what's broken in you. But what if that was never the point? What if this whole journey is actually about remembering the powerful, the adaptable, and the completely whole person that you already are, right now, hiding just underneath the story of your pain?